What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy. That's Dan Rourke. Dan, how are we doing on this very perfect day?
I like what you did there, Pat. I'm doing really good. Had one of the best nights of my life on what was that, Wednesday night. I also decided don't be thrown off for those watching at home. I need to fix my posture. I looked at myself the other day, dude. I felt myself. I was playing MLB and I just realized how hunched over I was. And I looked at the Yankees Avenue Show past episodes, and I'm so hunched over when I talk. So I'm gonna straighten myself out a little bit. But
The
how are you,
overall
Pat?
episode, yeah, you did.
Every episode that ever exists of this show?
Oh, I never noticed. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
How are you
yeah,
doing?
no, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Obviously vibes are extremely high coming off that perfect game. We'll talk all about that. Shout out to Domingo German. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about from today's episode after the Yankees took the W in the series against Oakland, which I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous about, but whatever, dude. We'll get into that. Before we get into anything though, want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Foco. You guys saw us wearing the overalls last episode. Be sure to buy yourself a pair. They're selling like hotcakes. Code Yankees Avenue at checkout. Save
Or get
15% off.
yourself a robe too. I
Looks really
mean,
cozy, Dan.
I'm very cozy right now. But let's talk some ball, dude.
Yeah,
I need
let's
to
do it.
spit some freaking knowledge out here. Not even knowledge, just feelings, emotions, love for Domingo German.
Topic number one, Domingo German. He threw the 24th, I would say 25th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. First one since 2012. First Yankees perfect game since David Cohn in 1999. Dan, I think that we just need to take a whole topic here to just talk about the night itself and kind of how special this moment was, at least for you and I, right? Because I don't know about you, but I watched this game on Saturday night kind of like as I did any other, right? Until it got to the eighth inning. That's when it started feeling real because I was like, yo,
You mean
we've seen this.
Wednesday night?
Oh my God, yo, I'm thinking it's Sunday. Yes,
I've
Wednesday
done
night. I
that a
think it's
million times today, dude.
so
Three
weird.
times I thought today was Sunday, but go on.
Once the summer hits, I lose track of the days. It's kind
Might
of
as well not
insane.
be a calendar. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. But yeah, so Wednesday night, I was watching the game. It kind of felt like one of those, like we've seen so many times over the past 10 years or so. Perfect game into the seventh inning, perfect game in the eighth inning, and then something always happens. And then once we got to the eighth inning, I was like, yo, this is kind of real. Went live on YouTube, bro. The pure vibes of Domingo German's perfect game were immaculate, and I'd love to hear how your night went.
I mean, am I a genius or what, bro? It couldn't be better timing. And I'm not just talking about my little no hit not a prediction. I just said he has no hit stuff that could happen any start, right? Domingo German's curveball is his A pitch. There's no way out of nowhere he just forgot how to throw it. So assuming that comes back, like that's the Domingo German that we've been seeing majority of the year. And that Domingo German is a pretty damn good pitcher who's capable of every time out throwing a no-hitter. Honestly, it was good timing, but more so just what I said prior to making that statement on last week's show. Domingo German's best pitch is his curveball. There's no way out of nowhere he lost it. And when he has that curveball, majority of this year, outside of two starts, he's been phenomenal. You take away the start in Fenway and the start against Seattle, he has a 3.08 ERA on the season so far this year. And last night was a perfect example of why I said that, dude. I mean, first of all, there's something very different about a no-hitter and a perfect game. I mean, a no-hitter is impressive, but the way I feel about like Corey Kluber's in hindsight, like that
For
was the most
sure.
one I watched that I was attached at the time. I was hyped about, but like it's a totally different thing. A perfect game, no room for error whatsoever. You can't, like, dude, the amount of nerve I felt, like how anxious I was on that 3-1 count in the eighth inning. Oh my God. And then talk about the
Yeah.
confidence with the curveball. He drops one in on 3-1, which was badass as hell. And then I forget how that at bat ended. Was it a strikeout or maybe it was the ground out? Couple nerve-wracking ground balls too. I mean, some people put it out there on Twitter, and I agree with the vibe entirely, that I felt like it was going to come down to Donaldson, and I was very nervous that he was going to boot a ball, either him or Volpe, and that would be, oh my God, a shitstorm on Twitter. But no, dude, everybody came through. You had the one play. Wasn't that insane? You know, we've seen better, like, no-hitter, perfect game-saving plays in the past, but Anthony Rizzo had his nice little stop in the fifth inning. That was huge. But dude, if there's something that can right the ship for this team, a team that's still playing, I mean, they entered the series winning 2 straight series, and they just took this one. But that's something, dude. A perfect game, not a no-hitter, a
Yeah.
perfect game. I don't know if the word is like unite the team or whatever it is, but like this is something to rally around, dude. I mean, those pitchers last night, the one especially, I'll put in the B-roll, it was of the entire Yankee team. And it gave me chills, dude. It really gave me chills. Like, I don't know if it was my mind, like, trying to trick myself into, like, this is what a World Series picture would look like if they were all celebrating. And it was just something about it, dude. they really looked like a team, dude. And it was cool, like seeing them laughing with each other. I don't know. Everything about it, dude, it was truly a special night. A special night. I have more
Yeah.
to say about it, but we'll probably talk back and forth. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you described it perfectly, and I think uniting the team is exactly what it did, right? When you see that team photo afterwards, where kind of Domingo is holding the ball, and you see bro Garrett Cole with the biggest smile out of anybody, it's such a nice, heartwarming thing. I said it's one of the most wholesome pictures I've ever seen, but I definitely think that
Fire me
there,
up, baby. Fire me
yeah,
up.
good looking picture. But yeah, I think it's just one of those things where obviously they lost game one of the series to Oakland, and vibes were extremely low coming off of that. And I think that was the only thing that could have got me lifted back up about this team. What, like, even if the Yankees would have won that game 11-1, right? Let's just say, and Domingo gave up one run over one run over 7 innings, I still wouldn't have felt that way coming out of that game.
Right.
And I think also the fact that they were able to finish off the series with the W on Thursday, and kind of just like you're walking out of Oakland with a series W, because bro, vibes would have drastically fell down if they would have lost the final game of the series and they lost the series to the A's. No one cares
Yeah.
about the perfect game anymore at that point. So yeah, I just think that everything about that night was just it felt special, right? And one thing that Domingo said after the game is like he had an uncle that passed away 2 days ago, and like he kind of did it for him. Obviously, a super emotional night for him. And one thing that I do want to touch on, I don't know if you want to touch on it, but I do. Obviously, a ton of controversy going around Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
People being like, "Oh, like such a disgusting human being throwing a perfect game. Like, how are Yankee fans cheering for this?" Let me just say this, right? And I think me and you have been perfect at doing this since Domingo German's been a Yankee. There's a major difference between Domingo German as a human being and Domingo German as a New York Yankee, right? I root for every single player on the New York Yankees. Domingo German is on the New York Yankees, completed a historic accomplishment, something that we have only we've never seen a perfect game on the Yankees in our lifetime.
No.
So take that into account. Never. So the fact that people across Major League Baseball are kind of ripping fans for celebrating this accomplishment for Domingo is absolutely insane. Yankee fans who are saying that they refuse to celebrate this perfect game, I also think that that's insane as well. Like I'm looking at this as a huge accomplishment for Domingo German, huge accomplishment for the New York Yankees. I don't know the dude personally, but I would hope at this point he's redeemed himself and grown as a human being and just tried to move past his past actions. But I think that's all you could really do at this point, right? And what we witnessed on Wednesday night was nothing short of history. And I think we should acknowledge that.
1,000%. And I'll touch on that in a moment. But as for it being special, us not ever seeing it, dude, I take it back to remember last year when Judge hit 62. And one of the reasons I was so appreciative of it is I was talking about coming up a Yankee fan. And while it hasn't been torture, I've technically seen a World Series, making the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. A large part of like my identity as a fan is feeling almost cheated out of what like my ancestor fans have been able to see, or like my grandpa, like my dad. I shouldn't say ancestors. I don't know why I said that, but like what the past Yankee fan was able to see, I haven't so much been able to experience. Judge gave me that with a historic home run chase last year and doing it. Domingo German throwing a perfect game, man. Like you have Larson, you have Wells, you have Cone, which I'm sure you know the stat, Pat. I put it out earlier. The Yankees have never had a pitcher throw a perfect game and not had that team go on to win the World Series. Once again, Larson in 56, Wells in 98, Cone in 99. Domingo German in 2023, we'll have to see. But anyways, no, it was a very special night. And this wasn't an issue going into the perfect game for me. I know Domingo German, the person, is not somebody who I would get along with. The first person I talked to about it this morning actually was Chris Rose. And I came up all cheery, and I'm a Yankee fan. He's a Guardian fan. So it's not like he would really be all that happy anyways. But he felt a little bit like indifferent about it. He didn't know how exactly to feel. And when I brought up like, oh, obviously I'm pumped up. And he was like, yeah, well, he's not like a great guy. I'm like, you're not having Thanksgiving dinner with the dude. And when I understand you don't want to support the person, supporting the player doesn't all of a sudden make you like some bad dude.
And supporting the moment, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Supporting like, and when I say the player, I look at it like two separate situations, like two separate things. Domingo German personally, I have no idea who he is, and I have no interest really to like get along with the dude, hang out with the dude, like get a beer with the dude, whatever. But in the end, he's a Yankee. He wears a logo that I love so much, that I root for every single day. I'm going to support him.
yeah. And I think that's the
that.
thing too, right? I think if Domingo German wasn't a Yankee and let's say he was a Red Sox, which by the way, Brian Bello, like on the Red Sox, not sure, like currently, as of recording, he has a no-hitter through 7. Kind of
Oh, really? No
wild.
hitter. Who gives a fuck?
But
No
let's
hitter.
just say, like,
No
Domingo was
hitter.
on,
Who
let's
gives
say
a
he was on the Red Sox and he threw a perfect game there. Bro, we'd probably be like, all right, who cares?
Oh,
You know
without
what I mean?
question. You know, no,
So
I wouldn't say it on this show, but I would I would say some shit in, like, my boys' group chats, be like, oh, look at this fucking piece of shit, whatever.
sure.
Like, in the end, I do think, and there also is something to be said for, some people may not like this. The dude did serve his time, technically. I mean, he was suspended. He had that, and he's redeemed himself. I mean, not so much right away, but especially this year with the whole, like, number 0 thing, fresh start. I mean, this year, Herman's handled himself, like, pretty damn well. And what would I rather? Like,
besides the sticky stuff, you know.
sure, but honestly, I don't fault anybody for that. I mean, I think that's MLB's problem rather than Herman's. But, like, what's the reality say if Herman didn't pitch a perfect game last night and he's out of the league and there was no sort of, like, correction forced upon his life? Who knows what happens after the fact? I mean, like, giving guys a second chance sometimes is a very good thing. That's why we do that in this country. And I think it's a good story last night. Doesn't mean I support domestic violence. No, I know I don't. So I don't have to go out there and, like, talk about it nonstop. And not that there's an issue with that, but there does seem to be some people who, like, have to prove to themselves or to other people how good of a person they are. And just, like, even if they did truly support Domingo German, I feel like some people, or, like, support him in the perfect game, like, they wouldn't even want to come out and say it because it makes them look bad. Like, I don't think anybody should worry about that.
I don't even think that would make you look bad, though.
Well, no, I think it doesn't, but, like, some people, whatever. But anyways, it's sports, people. Like, in the end, it's not that deep. A Yankee just threw a perfect game last night. Like, I just got to watch a New York Yankee throw a perfect game with my own 2 eyes. Like,
no, it's a moment.
That's it, bro. That's it. You saw a perfect game.
And let me just say one thing too. I know you might have, like, differing opinions on this than me. I think it's absolutely hysterical that Michael K was not on the call. Like, you know, somewhere, wherever he is on vacation right now, he's absolutely punching the air that he was not able to be on that call. Also, let me just say this. Huge shot to Ryan Ruocco and huge shot to Justin Shackle as well, because I heard the radio portion of it. Both of them amazing calls, bro. Like, calling a perfect game, like, it's not like going into a World Series game where it's like you kind of know what you're in for. You can, like, mentally prepare. I doubt either one of them came into that night knowing I'm gonna call a perfect game tonight. So huge shot to both of them. I think the calls were, and bro, I was shitting bricks watching it. I can only imagine, like, being on the call for it.
Right, and they were actually talking about, remember, in the Yes booth, like, Ruocco or Jeff Nelson asked Ruocco, whatever it was, who do you think has the most pressure now? Like, do you think German has the most pressure? Do you think the fielders have the most pressure? Like, my mindset, like, takes into, like, the broadcasters too, bro, especially, like, Ruocco and even Shaq, who Shaq's call was so freaking good. It was good. But, like Ruocco's been kind of doing this for a while now. You can call Ruocco a veteran. And of course, Shaq's been doing play-by-play forever too. But in terms of being, like, a Yankee broadcaster, filling in for John Sterling, like, dude, the fact that he got that call as well as he did, like, I would almost say, like, I would be nervous as hell. But I don't know, dude. Like, I guess it kind of wraps up the whole conversation with that. But, dude, it's a fun night, bro. And there's something special too about, and this is why I always like West Coast baseball, late night baseball. It's like you have people that were asleep yet, like, during the game. And I understand that, you know, it's a late game. I understand, like, Jimmy, he was asleep because he has a newborn. Like, I get it. But when you have the smaller crowd watching the game, it's almost like you're all, like, you're in it together a little bit more. Like, I don't know. Like, we were all there late night watching the game till 2 a.m., bro. It's just, like, it's sick. Shout out to the post, was a dope cover.
It also wouldn't hit the same, right? Like, waking up and finding out Domingo German threw a perfect game the night before. Like, I would try to forget about it.
Dude, no, that would, I'm not kidding. That would probably drive into therapy, bro. I remember 2 times. One happened earlier this year where I remember I woke up, I was awake. I posted my pregame and everything. Lineup came out 3 hours of the game time. I was fine. Took a quick little nap. Either I didn't set my alarm like you, or you just didn't wake up to it, whatever it was. And I woke up like the 3rd or 4th inning of a game last month. And that's horrible. That doesn't happen for me, dude. And, like, I had a post on Yankees Ave and, like, put it out, like, listen, because it was a game they scored, like, they had, like, a 10-run inning. So I, like, combined it all into one post. Anyways, that was the first time since I remember August of 2021, Aaron Judge hit, like, a go-ahead, like, 2-run homer against the A's. I fell asleep during it, woke up at, like, 3 a.m. The feeling of guilt during those moments, I can only imagine, bro. And not saying this amongst other people, just more so for, like, Yankees Ave, myself, like, the weird, like, it's like an OCD thing in my head too. Like, I always be sitting down for first pitch, like, in my couch, like, I don't want anybody to bother me, anything like that. If I fell asleep, and bro, I mean, I was like, there were times of the day yesterday where I was dozing off. So, like, I was in danger of that happening. But I'm drinking 2 cups of caffeine the last couple of days, which I probably should stop. I'm gonna get one after this.
Okay, cool. I was just gonna say, to wrap things all up here,
I was gonna say we probably should honestly skip a topic at the end, unless, are we going a full long episode here, Pat? Is that what we're doing? I'm not against that.
I'm not against it either.
You want to do it?
I
I
think
think
we
the
do.
people may
Yeah.
want it. All right, let's roll.
I
All right.
think, yeah. Last thing I did want to say on the Domingo thing is like, bro, as happy as I am for the perfect game, I
Mm-hmm.
can only imagine how much like different I would feel if it was Garrett Cole that threw it.
Oh, I know. Or imagine if it was at Yankee Stadium.
I know, bro. Imagine it was Cole at Yankee Stadium. Let me stop. It's gonna happen. We're speaking it into
But dude,
existence.
I'll tell you, I think Mingo, like, if I were to say I had a hot take last week that was Domingo German has the best chance of any Yankee to throw a no hitter. Maybe in hindsight, like Monday morning
Well, because
quarterback
it's
thing.
always the random guys,
No, but
right?
not
Like
even just that, dude. He's so fucking efficient. What do you throw? 95 pitches?
under
Cole.
99.
I mean, I love Cole to death, and he's the ace. He's the dog. You know, I love him. But how often does Cole really go that deep into games? I mean, like when was the last time you saw him pitch into the eighth? I mean, the pitch count gets high. Mingo, dude. I mean, that's not like a rare occurrence for him. Obviously, the perfect game is, but going deep in a game and like not having that high pitch count,
No,
I don't know.
insane.
It's cool.
Absolutely
Let's move
insane.
on.
But yeah, speaking of the Oakland series, one guy who kind of started to pick it up a little bit in Oakland was Giancarlo Stanton. He had 5 RBIs in the series, but also played 2 straight games in right field. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, I feel like Stanton isn't really a guy that we've mentioned, even though Yankees Twitter has kind of been on his ass as of late, just because the IL Russ is kind of like 3-4 weeks in at this point. People are getting frustrated. They're looking back at his yearly stats. They're like, yo, he might be completely washed. But I feel like me and you haven't really touched on it because we both know Giancarlo Stanton, and we
Right.
know that he's going to come around and he's going to be one of the most productive hitters in the Yankees lineup eventually, and he's going to always show up in the big moments. So I'm never going to be concerned about Stanton.
Well
And
said.
now to see him like start picking it up, we're seeing him pick it up in Oakland. Hopefully, he continues it in St. Louis. I guess the question has to be asked because you compare the stats between his offensive numbers when he DHs and his offensive numbers when he plays the outfield. He's drastically better when he's playing the field. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that it's time to play him in the outfield a little bit more?
Yeah, so to be specific with those stats, since 2022, and what was notable about this past weekend, by the way, is that he played 2 games in right field, but they were back to back as well. So you had the late night, well, I guess it wasn't late night, West Coast time, but anyways, the night game, and then he played right field, and then the day after in the afternoon played right field as well. So 2 straight, that was cool. But anyways, since the start of 2022, as a DH, since the start of 2022, Pat, like that's pretty long time as a DH, 186 average, a 281 on base, a 423 slugging. That is an OPS of what is that? Just barely over like 7. That's like 740. Is that what my not even? Can you do the math on that for me,
I don't
Pat?
know math.
281 plus
What,
423.
700 maybe?
Okay, in the 700s. Anyways, as an outfielder, he's batting 251 with a 302 OBP, 503 slugging. So that's an OPS in the 800s as an outfielder, OPS in the low 700s as a DH. I think in part it's coincidence. Like some of it may not actually mean what we think it might mean, but now it's a
Small
large enough.
sample size too.
But now, yes, that's how I always felt, and in part still do. But now it's becoming a large enough sample size to where you can start wondering the question, like, yeah, maybe this dude, and he said it himself too. He's mentioned I feel more involved in the game. It kind of keeps me on my feet more, which obviously makes sense. I mean, the way I think about it in my head is, what do you always hear about pinch hitting? Why do hitters always say pinch hitting so hard? Because you're coming off the bench cold. You know, they're very rarely successful at it. Like a good pinch hitter is rare. I
Yeah.
mean, DHing, if you really break it down, dude, I mean, it's just DHing is pinch hitting 4 times. You're just sitting on the bench, and yeah, you can get swings in the cage, but also in terms of like a mental thing, like Stan said, yeah, I mean, you are more involved. You are involved in the game. DHing not so much. So like, it makes sense to me why there would be a correlation. And now like the stats really over a pretty large sample size do prove it. Here's what I think they should do. They should have Stanton play. You have him play right when you're having Bowers hit. So against righties, because you're going to need to get him out there as much as possible if it really helps him this much. Have Stanton play in the outfield majority against righties. That's where Bowers play when Bowers is in the lineup. Have him DH. And then against lefties, when Bowers is sitting, you can DH Stanton. And then if you want to, I don't know, put McKinney out there who has good splits. Anyways, just you can divvy it up very nicely to where you still give him a couple DH days, get him in the outfield to where it also makes sense for the lineup construction because they don't play Bowers against lefties and just situations like that. So I'm saying it could work. It could work.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, I don't think it becomes that confusing. Like, to answer the question, he definitely needs to play the outfield more. And I think this is something that both you and I have been very adamant on, like, for the past couple seasons that we want to see stand in the field more. Just because I hate this narrative, too. Like, even in the postseason last year, people acting like Stanton is not a good fielder and that he's a liability out there. Giancarlo Stanton's not a liability in the outfield at all. If anything, he might be the opposite, especially when he plays there on a consistent basis. Sometimes he might look a little rusty in the outfield, but that's only because he doesn't get that much time out there. But I think that Stanton in the outfield getting time out there, I don't think it's that complicated of a situation because let's just say like Bowers continues to put up solid numbers through the trade deadline. The Yankees don't go out and acquire an outfield bat, right? My outfield that I'm looking at is left field, Jake Bowers, whether you like that or not, whatever. Center field, you got Bader. And then right field, bro, like down the stretch, when Judge comes back, I don't think he's going to be healthy enough to play right field every single night. It's just not going to happen, right? Because we all know like the toe stuff, even when he comes back, like it might linger or
And
whatever.
the Yankees
The
just may
Yankees
not
aren't,
want him to regardless. Even if you say he
yes,
was 100%, they're going to be precautionary
exactly.
as hell. So,
The Yankees aren't going to want him out there playing right field every single night. So I think if you can alternate Judge and Stanton between DH and right field, bro, that's so ideal. You could have each one of them play like 3-4 days a week right, and then 3-4 days a week DH. I think it works out perfectly.
yeah. And as for Stanton's defense, you're 100% right. It's always been really ever since it wasn't underrated when he was a Marlin, but ever since he came to the Yankee, I guess, because that's when he got that like full-time DH tagline, it was assumed he can't play the outfield. Like, no, Stan's been an above average left fielder. By now, as age comes on, I'm sure he's lost a step, but I'll still consider him at least to be better than what Jake Bowers has shown defensively or Willie Calhoun. Yeah, since like 2021, when he really was getting back into the fold as like an every now and then outfielder, what do you think the peak ratio was? Like 70-30, 70% DH, 30% outfield? I mean, that's probably the peak we've gotten from Stan ever since 2018. He played a little bit
No,
of the outfield, but
2018. Let's not forget Judge was out for
no, I
a
know.
long time.
I'm saying like over the last couple years. So say 2021
Oh,
on like
probably
70,
70
30.
30. Yeah.
I want to get to dude at least 50-50, if not 40-60, 40% of the time at DH, 60% in the outfield. If it really is going to make this much of a difference, which by now I do believe it does. And I'm
Yeah.
just saying the Yankees are still going to want to definitely, of course, a couple days a week at the minimum DH him. But it'd be nice if during you have a 6-game stretch, Stan plays like 4 in the outfield, 2 at DH, or at minimal 3 and 3.
Well, I think also like you look at the postseason, and you don't really have to worry about Bauer's defense out there too much because I can't see a scenario where he's playing outfield in the playoffs, right? Like my outfield going into the postseason, assuming everyone's healthy, got Stanton left, Bader in center, Judge in right,
Right. Well, I'll tell you
right?
right now, though, they will. If Stanton's starting the outfield is definitely a possibility, probably likely in the playoffs. But once his last at bat is done in the 7th, they're probably hooking him right out of there for
Which
like,
sucks.
yeah. I mean, Greg Allen too. He'll be on the playoff roster because he'll be back.
Also, I do not want to see IKF playing the outfield for an inning in the postseason. Just throwing that out there.
I think he will. I think he will.
Why? Why
I
though?
think there'll be a moment where like he plays center because knock on wood, like Bader gets a little scuffle or something. He comes out for an inning. He's fine the next day, but you got to see IKF go out there. I don't know. I mean, the
Right.
Yankees technically have a lot of outfielders, which is what's funny because we always talk about the outfield problem. It's just like the defense is such
Just
an
not
issue.
great ones. Yeah.
And
It's
you
weird.
mentioned if the Yankees don't get an outfield, like that's not on the table for me, bro. Like you have to get an outfielder. Even if you were to get Heimer Candelario to play like third or something, like that
Put
wouldn't. You
Donaldson in
need an
left.
outfielder. Hey, we're not going to talk about it today, but he hit 2 homers, which that was
Yeah, shout out.
472 feet, bro. That was a bomb. Holy
Bro,
hell.
one thing I will say is like as much as Donaldson struggles and as much as we might get on him, when he pimps a home
Oh,
run, it
he has
still
like that little
tickles my feathers
back
a little
hook
bit.
thing he does too. It's like he
I
crushes it and
know.
he like does like a not a moonwalk, but like you know what I mean? He like walks
I
backward.
know
It's
what you're talking.
sick.
Yeah. No, it's nice.
Somebody tweeted something
Yo,
out that real quick, my voice is cracked too. Somebody tweeted something out that was so true. And they were like, Josh Donaldson had a chance to be like unbelievably loved by Yankee fans. If he were just good, say he came over last year and was good, the amount of
yeah.
affection we would have for this dude. I remember I said at the time when we got him, because I was excited. Yes, I was. Good player. I thought he'd be good. My bad. I was like, because everybody's talking about Correa getting his edge. And I said, getting Donaldson's like Correa without the cheating. You're getting that douchebaggy edge, like the kind of player you get, like, oh, this is, I won't go into a whole thing. But if he were to be good, bro, he would have been a star here. It's a shame.
I know. And he started his Yankee career off perfectly, right? Walk
Oh,
off on
walk
opening
off.
day,
Yeah, with
whatever.
the fucking Manfred rule, though. Oh, that was my first F bomb of the show. Sorry, Christine.
No, it's fine. We're deep into it.
We are.
But yo, before we get into topic number 3, want to give a huge shout out to our
Yeah.
sponsor,
Let me get some
FOCO. You guys
stuff.
already know FOCO has the best stuff in the world. You guys saw the overalls last episode. Dan has that comfy robe on this episode. Use code Yankees Avenue at checkout. Save 15% off your order. Hit that link in the description. Look at all the look at that hat.
Well,
Where else you
first of
getting
all,
that hat?
okay, I'm not gonna throw the hat on because I just got a haircut today. Pat says it looks good. I'm not a huge fan. Sorry, Pat. Anyways, this hat is dope. Go get yourself one. That landed on the bed. Pat can probably see it. You guys can't. Foco bobbleheads, you know the deal. I got this sick ass robe on, and also I haven't mentioned him in quite some time. My favorite pair of shorts, bro. This is
Oh,
so
you're branded.
huh?
You're branded out today.
Pat, I don't think you understand, dude. I swear, this is what I wear every single day.
No, I know. No, I
Like
know.
I unintentionally, like I'll very rarely ever leave my house without a Yankee logo on me somewhere. And these shorts help out with that so much. And I like it because it's low key. So if you guys are like me, go pick yourself up something flea. Oh, you like that? That was off the cuff. FOCO,
Yeah,
code Yankees
I
Avenue,
can tell.
15% off.
Yeah, okay. Topic number 3. Let's talk about Anthony Volpe a little bit. I think that he deserves some
Yeah.
love. We talked about Stanton getting hot. Volpe's more hot than Stanton, right? We could say he's sizzling on the grill.
Dan to me is not even high. He's showing signs of getting
He's
there.
warming up. He's
Yes.
warming up. He's like in the microwave right now. All right. You put him
Right.
on that, you know, that 30-second button on the microwave, like that quick 30 bang. That's
Yeah.
what Stan is right now. Volpe is like, bro, he's on fire. He's
He's
cooking.
on like the popcorn setting, bro. You left him in too long. He's
Yes.
crickling. He's like screaming for you to open the door.
And he's defrosting, but he's like done defrost. You guys.
I get you.
He's
Yes.
batting 340 over his last 15 games. Just overall, he looks so good at the plate. I feel like every night he's getting like multiple hits. It's a completely different Anthony Volpe than we've seen earlier this month. And I think it's really funny because I tweeted out last night, can't believe anybody ever doubted Anthony Volpe. And I think it was very fair to doubt Volpe, right? Like we were looking at like a 3-month period
Sure.
where he looked like the worst hitter in baseball. Actually, he might have been the worst hitter
He
in
was
baseball.
technically at a point.
Yeah. So now we're kind of looking at him. And I guess we could ask the question, is Anthony Volpe finally here, or are you not sold completely yet?
I mean, in a way, what does this question mean? Because is Anthony Volpe finally here and he's going to bet 340 the rest of the year? No, I don't think that. But is this why I wanted to give the dude at least through July to prove himself? Yes, absolutely. You mentioned the 340 average, but it's not just that, dude. It's how good he looks at the plate. Even the outs that he's making are hard hit. I think also how well he's hitting at the plate has kind of translated to shortstop as well. He looks very confident defensively. I just think Volpe's legit, man. And when people bring him up in trade talks, and in certain regards, I do get it. Like if somebody says trade Volpe for Juan Soto, you're not crazy. I could forgive you for saying that. But very quickly, people gave up on this dude. And when they would say that, I would respond asking, like, could you imagine yourself saying this in March, which may I remind you was 3 months ago? I mean, how quickly a lot of people gave up on this dude. Honestly, like, I'm not talking about people saying, oh, send him down to AAA. Like, I'm not talking to you, Pat. You were saying send him down to AAA, call him back up in August. That's not the people I'm referring to. But there's people that generally just like actually calling him a bust after a sample size of 50 games. When you look up to the camera like that, it makes you feel like somebody's watching me and that you're laughing at the point I'm making.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about, actually.
Something's going on. But nah, dude, I think Volpe's just legit, dude. Like, this is what I thought he'd be. Not 340, but a guy that's going to show you many flashes, at least in his rookie year, of why he's going to be a star in the big leagues.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. And I think the flash that we're seeing now over the last 15 games, I hope it's not just a flash, right? I hope that he can provide streaks like this on a consistent basis now. And I guess to answer the question, is he finally here? I'm going to say like, maybe. I'm just not completely sold yet. I think before I'm like banking on like, yes, like Anthony Volpe like is fixed. He's going to be like our long-term fix at shortstop. I'm gonna hold off a little bit just because like I want to see a little bit more longevity consistency, but before I like dedicate myself to that narrative.
So you just said you're not sold yet on him like being a long-term shortstop or anything, right?
Correct. Yeah.
To me, bro, like that's already just embedded into my brain as Volpe's our shortstop. Like this is our guy. Like I almost look at it like we're in a like first round, you draft a quarterback in the NFL. Like I look at like for at least the next 3 years, including this one, Volpe's the guy. He'll have this year,
probably.
He'll have next year, and then maybe by like June or July of 25, that's where we'll get to the legitimate conversations. Like if he's still strong at that point, which I don't think he will be. But I think that at this point, dude, like when you've shown now multiple flashes, and this is the best one by far, like there's no world where I think Volpe's not going to at least have our starting shortstop job for the next couple of years. He's just too good, and the adjustments he's made. I mean, that's so impressive, dude. How bad this dude
saying job wise though. I'm saying like for Patrick Hennessy mentally. You know what I mean?
I got you. I'm not like passionately yelling at you. I'm just more so like hyping Volpe up in my head. Like I'm excited. I think he looks
no, huge shot to him. He's absolutely killing it. And I think that he needed to, right? Like you kind of see he had all the pressure on him in the world. He had people asking the owner of the New York Yankees if he's going to be sent down, and he turned it up at the perfect time. So
Yeah.
major shout out to him. But one thing I will say, like kind of while we're on the infield, have you noticed that Glaber's like not really playing the field as much, at least the past couple of games? I think he DH 2 games in Oakland, no?
Yeah, well, that would all, yeah, but also they really wanted to play Donaldson. So, and to do that with keeping DJ in the lineup, you have to DH an infielder.
Or
And
you can just kill my narrative I'm trying to build here?
I guess, yeah. But like,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
saying you're wrong. I'm saying that could be a potential.
Okay, I'm just saying Glaber sucks defensively. Maybe they're starting to take note of that. Just throwing that
Yeah,
out.
actually, technically still grades out as about league average, maybe slightly below.
Whip out the numbers, Dan. Whip them up. What's his
Don't fucking
outs above
don't treat me
average?
like I'm some like MLB nerds. Actually,
What's
that's a
his
good account. I'm not
xFIP?
gonna diss him. I like him, but I'm not some
Who?
analytical geek. No, I just said MLB nerds like in a generic sense. It's an actual like Instagram
Oh,
account. I happen to like the kid, but anyways, I'm not some like analytical guru,
okay. So
obnoxious.
is Glaber Torres good defensively? Yes or no?
I think skill wise, yes. I just think sometimes mentally he is a meatball.
See, but stats don't show that.
Well, he ranked pretty damn. I mean, I'm gonna freaking solve this now and find out exactly what his numbers are. But last year he was plus in defensive runs saved. He was plus in outs above average. So give me a
I don't
minute
know
here.
what outs above average is. Am
Of
I
course you don't.
casual for saying that? I don't know what that means.
I mean, spell it out, like process it, dude. Just kidding. Let's see here. Okay, so my bad. I went to a shortstop thing. I almost second base. Let's find second base. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Second base,
Okay, take your time.
2023. I will. Okay, 2022, 9 defensive runs saved. He had 0 outs above average, which that is actually good technically. League average is good. He could be in the negatives. He's not. He wasn't. 2023, he's at -1 defensive runs saved, -1 outs above average. So, like I said,
He's not good.
under my breath, he's like right around league average, slightly below. And the slightly below definitely is because of the mental lapses. I mean, it's because I'm surprised he actually doesn't have less, considering all the dumb things he does. Come on, dude. You're getting me on a tangent. This is what people want. They want the longer episodes, huh? Yeah, I'm sure.
Topic number 4. Talking
Yeah,
about the
let's
Cardinal
do it.
series real quick. So the Yankees are beginning a weekend set against the St. Louis Cardinals, who, I mean, shockingly, have been one of the biggest disappointments in baseball. I feel like entering the year, I viewed the Cardinals as one of those very consistent teams where it's like no matter what team they throw out there, they're going to be competitive every year. This year's not the case. They're 13 games below 500. They might end up being sellers at the deadline. They have quite a few guys who could potentially be trade bait. I'm looking at Nolan Arenado. I'm looking at Paul Goldschmidt. I'm looking at Brendan Donovan. I'm looking at Nolan Gorman. I'm looking at Dylan Carlson. I'm looking at Lars Nootbaar, bro. They have a lot of guys who could potentially be trade fits for the Yankees. And obviously, we're pretty familiar trading with them, right? Did that deal last year, Monty for Bader. Did the Jaime Garcia deal a while ago. Sent them Giovanni Gallegos. Oh, wait, no.
No,
Jaime Garcia was with the Twins, no? I don't know.
he was
I'm
weird.
going far
Jaime
back.
was weird. He was like an IKF situation where he got
It
traded.
was.
Yes,
It was
he
weird.
was traded from like the
I think from
Guardians,
St.
maybe.
Louis to the Twins, and then
Yes,
from the Twins to us.
yes.
Okay.
Gallegos was in the Luke Voigt deal.
Yes. Yes. Whatever. You guys get my point. Who are you taking from the St. Louis Cardinals, if anybody?
Okay, well, Nolan Arenado is definitely interesting. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll just
Would you give
discuss.
up Dominguez for Arenado?
Oh, that's a good question. All right, well, let me pull up the Arenado page again here because I do want to see his contract. Now, he's signed through 2027, 30 million a year, 9 years, 275. That's the deal he's in right now. I mean, no, I wouldn't, dude. I wouldn't. I mean, he's good, but he's not outside of being in course. I mean, he's still a really good hitter, but he's not an MVP caliber player. I'm only trading Jason right now for like an MVP caliber player. The name everybody always talks about, dude. Have you had any interest in Tyler O'Neill?
No.
I
But
mean,
it's a very Yankee-like acquisition,
it, it,
though.
it it does intrigue me in just the sense of has had success in the past, real good success. 2021, 138 games, 286 average, 34 homers, 144 OPS plus, 5.6 WAR. He was phenomenal. Then all of a sudden in 22 goes down to a 101 OPS plus, so right around league average. Stats fall off a lot. This year in 29 games, a 73 OPS plus, so he's been well
Oh,
below
bro,
league
he's on the
average.
60-day IL.
I guess so, but I mean, point is, since the start of 2022, he hasn't been the same dude. The Yankees, they do have a history, and this is one thing you, for the most part, can credit them for, is unlocking potential in hitters. Tyler O'Neill's an outfielder. He's a right-handed hitter, so I mean, whatever. Under control through 2024. Should have him this year and next. You just have to hope you unlock something.
So you would
Probably
go
him.
with him?
Yeah, I mean, like in a realistic sense. I mean, I don't think Paul Goldschmidt's getting. I mean, obviously, we don't need him anyways. We have Rizzo. I don't necessarily think an Arenado's going to happen either. Just my take on what I think a realistic trade. I think if there's be a trade between the Yankees and the Cardinals, it would involve Tyler O'Neill. So I'm kind of just giving my 2 cents on that. I would do it
Okay.
for the
Well,
right
I'll tell you
return.
what. I'm taking, and listen, I don't even think this guy's going to be available because he's absolutely beloved in St. Louis. Get me Lars friggin' Nootbaar, bro. Um, he's not having that great of a season. 737 OPS, only has 4 home runs, batting 260. But I think that he's one of those guys where it's like, and also, bro, keep in mind he's 25 years old, coming off an awesome WBC where he Team Japan, bro. Like he's playing in big moments. I think Lars Nootbaar, left-handed hitter, I think beautiful swing in Yankee Stadium. I think it's one of those things where you put his left-handed swing in Yankee Stadium. I think that he's just one of those projects where the Yankees can take him, develop him into an absolute monster. And then Lars Nootbaar is like that smiley, fun-loving guy in the Bronx. I think he's a perfect fit. You'd probably have to give up a decent amount just because I think the Cardinals value him so highly. But I think it might be worth it because he could be a solution in the outfield for years to come. Because also, bro, don't forget, Bader's probably gone after this year. So the Yankees are going to have two major holes in the outfield. So I don't know. Maybe Lars Nootbaar could be a fit.
I mean, I'd like to have him. He has a 364 OBP. That's good. Under control though, dude. Through 2027, he's under control through. Yeah, just 25 years old, left-handed bat. I mean, outfielder, solid defense. He'd be nice. I just don't think the Cardinals would give him up,
Yeah, probably
honestly.
not.
Like,
But
because the thing is, the Cardinals are definitely on the vibe of, and I think this is probably similar with the Padres, why they wouldn't even give up Juan Soto most likely, because they plan on these teams plan on competing next year. Like even like same with the Mets, they may not be crazy sellers, at least for like their long term pieces, because they're going to try to get right back into things next year. So I feel like Nootbaar, he would stay. Like at least with O'Neill, I mean, like he's under control through just next year. But I mean, honestly, I feel like majority of the Cardinals, like they don't really have. There's not any like
Tommy
clear
Edman.
standouts here, dude. I mean, before Volpe was picking up, you had some mouth breathers asking for Paul DeYoung or suggesting it.
Yeah, that's
I'm all
psychotic,
right.
actually.
Nah, dude. Honestly, there's not much. I would entertain a Tyler Neal trade though. I would.
Sure. Maybe this weekend's going to be like a tryout. We'll see.
I don't like being
But
in St. Louis.
I don't either. I think it's just because of last year. We're
It
listen, we didn't like
100% is.
Oakland before, right? Like this is the Yankees' first series win Oakland since what, like
No, but at least
2016 or
Oakland
something.
gives you 10 o'clock starts. St. Louis is just 8. And 8, dude. Honestly, I don't like 8 starts on the
I don't either,
weekends.
unless it's a big game.
Weekdays
If it's
will.
a big game, bro, give me an 8 o'clock start, like a Fox game.
Well, I do miss when Sunday night baseball was 8 o'clock. Man, you know what I
Is it
miss so much?
9?
It's 7 now since
Oh,
I think like 2019 or something. But anyways, I miss so bad, dude. So bad. The Sunday night baseball broadcast with oh god, was it John Miller and Joe Morgan? The
can this
Oaks
be our topic
broadcast crew.
5?
Sure. I
Talking
mean,
about Sunday Night Baseball.
just broadcast in general. Yeah, how do you I don't even know
Sure.
what your take is exactly. I'm not even talking about the broadcast more so. I mean, the broadcast on ESPN currently I think is not good. There's one
Yes.
positive thing about it, and it's David Cohn, obviously. The researcher, James Smythe, he works with ESPN. They have good stats and they have a good analyst in David Cohn. Outside of that, I don't like Sunday Night Baseball. I don't look forward to it really anymore. Besides the vibes surrounding, like it's nice when the intro starts up, you hear the ESPN music. I like that. The actual broadcast, now.
Okay, yes. And that's kind of why I think this is like topic number 5 here because I tweeted this out. I think it was last week during Sunday Night Baseball. I think that when they announced that, I think the booth is right now what Carl Ravitch, David Cohn,
Eduardo
Eduardo
Perez.
Perez. Yeah. When they announced that, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is going to be the greatest booth of all time!" Like, I'm so happy we got rid of Matty V and A Rod. I think that people didn't realize how great we had it with Matt Vasgersian and Alex Rodriguez. I think that that duo was probably my favorite ESPN Sunday Night Baseball duo since John Miller and Joe Morgan. And people didn't realize how good it was until it was gone, bro. Sometimes when I just need like that feeling, I'll go back to Matty V's call of Stanton's home run against the Red Sox late 2021. Bro, absolutely chill. Santa Maria, beautiful. I think A-Rod complimented him perfectly. I think the K-Rod broadcast is cool, but it's obviously not that same like broadcast feel, right? Because they're sitting in the corner, they're bringing in guests and stuff. It's not the traditional viewing experience.
Yeah.
But if it's like an Astros Phillies game Sunday Night Baseball, I don't really care. It's fun to watch that broadcast. But I do think that ESPN, like, they probably should make a change after the season because the booth right now, it feels dry, it feels bland. There's nothing really to it. Like they're goofing around, but they don't have like fun
It's
personalities.
forced.
It's very forced. Something needs to change.
Yeah. Like Cone's a funny ass dude. I mean, I think he's hilarious in the yes booth, but like, dude, you can tell when they're trying to like force in one-liners on the current. Anyways,
Yeah.
I actually disagree about Vescursion and A-Rod. I don't think they're the
Really?
best ones since John Miller and Joe Morgan. I hope that's the correct names. I know Joe Morgan.
No, it is. It is.
It is right. Okay.
John
Word.
Miller. Yeah.
I
Iconic
thought
duo, by the way.
right. Yes. I mean, not even just in those like in the Sunday Night Baseball, but also the ESPN not ESPN the old
Video
MLB
game?
2K game. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. They were the dude. That was another part of the whole like the iconic music, hearing their voice. And anyways, I think A-Rod and Vescursion could have been phenomenal. I don't know what happened. First thing is, I think the audio on ESPN isn't good. I think the
Oh my God,
audio,
wait. I love how okay, yeah, the field audio. I think the field audio is like unmatched. The fact that like the way you hear the ball come off the bat on ESPN, it hits totally
no, it
different.
should. I like the idea of it, and sometimes it's nice to get it right. But they have multiple audios going at once. Like it's not synced up. You'll hear like ball, bat, like it clicks. It's like an echo. But not even just that. I feel like oftentimes the commentator would get drowned out, and I felt like that was always the case with Matty V. I don't know if it was like because he did have a lot of good calls. I mean, also the Stanton homer against like when the Yankees and Mets during the Subway Series 9/11 anniversary.
Yes.
That series he was phenomenal. But anyways, I thought Matty V for some reason wasn't as good. I was really hyped up when he was brought over for it, but I thought he was kind of a letdown. A-Rod, I've said this a lot, but I think A-Rod in the booth for some reason, maybe because it's the whole, he's very like self conscious and he always wants to put off like a good image or anything. He came off very corny, whereas on the Fox broadcast, like pre and post, I think he's phenomenal because A-Rod knows baseball like no other. I mean, you could say what you want about him. Like nobody knows and loves baseball like A-Rod does. I mean, that's just an absolute fact. And you see that come out during like the pre and post game shows a lot, especially when he's talking to like, I mean, dude, talk about good duos or just good groups of TV guys. Fox had it right when it was A-Rod, Frank Thomas, and Pete Rose. And you may have had somebody else in there as well. I forget. But what?
No, I
tell you right now. No, I'm for real. And
David Ortiz.
David Ortiz is on it now. I don't know if he was. I don't think he was on the 10, but he may have been the extra guy I was forgetting.
You think
about.
that Pete Rose was better than David Ortiz?
I didn't say that. No, actually, yeah, sure.
Well, you said that's when they had it right.
Well, point is more so actually talking about A-Rod thriving. A-Rod was so good with him. There's a clip you can look it up on YouTube. It's too long for me to like play on here or anything, but just look up A-Rod, Pete Rose, Frank Thomas talking about hitting on the Fox postgame show. I'll watch it once a year. It's phenomenal, and that's where I think A-Rod does thrive when he's. And I get it sometimes too, but there's sometimes like you just get out of bed and you just feel different that day. You're more confident. Like, I don't know, you feel like you look better. You feel more comfortable, whatever it is. There's times I feel like A-Rod's really good and he's comfortable in his own skin. And that's when he thrives. You can see this dude knows baseball. This guy loves the game. But majority of the time, I feel like he just comes off very like phony in a way.
Okay. I get it.
That was my issue.
But like, I think like since we're like looking at broadcast as a whole, like broadcast wise, Fox clears everyone by far. Just like atmosphere, like bro, when I turn on channel 5 and it's like Yankees Red Sox at 8 o'clock, both teams could be like under 500. Once I hear that music and I see the camera work and I see like the studio with Kevin Burkhardt, A-Rod, David Ortiz, and Frank Thomas, or in London they had A-Rod, David Ortiz, Jeter, absolutely insane trio. Like it just feels like a big game. And the only thing that's disappointing about Fox is that Joe Buck doesn't call baseball games anymore. And I think he's another one of those things where it's like people didn't realize how good they had it until he was gone. Everyone and their mother complained about Joe Buck, bro, about how bad he was at baseball, whatever. I miss him so bad calling baseball games because he just has that big voice feel. And I think that's why I admire guys like him and Matty V, because when you hear their voice, you just know that it's a big game.
Matty V's not there for me yet. He was on the come up, man. I feel after 2017, I thought he was like the next Joe Buck. For some reason, I tell you, bro, it's ESPN audio. Well, hold on. With Joe Buck, I think a big part of it for our generation. Well, what? I want to, dude, because the thing is, my train of thought goes out the window so
Sure,
quickly.
sure.
If I don't make my point now, I never will. Joe Buck, bro, I'm telling you, for a lot of our generation, like I was born in 2000, you're born in 2000. I initially didn't like him either when I was first started listening out to him, which was like probably around like I started really getting into baseball like 2010, but more so 2011, 2012. Joe Buck had like a throat surgery at that point or had some sort of medical condition to where if you look, go listen back to his clips. Even you can hear it. You can even hear it in the 2011 World Series. And like, we will see you tomorrow. Like even that call and some of his calls on that World Series and during that time frame, he was a lot more monotone. He was a lot more like he didn't really provide much emotion during that period, which often led to, I feel like people would say, oh, he hates our team, never gets excited for it. But if you listen to Joe Buck before that time and after that time, which is majority of his career, I mean, 2017 ALCS, I thought he was great. Anyways, Joe Buck was the last dude remaining that had that big game feel. And that's something I like dearly miss. You know who I will say? Dan Shulman on Sunday Night Baseball. I thought that was a good crew. And they had Dan Shulman and John Kruk, I believe. That was a good crew. I mean, they had a kind of also rotating.
That reminds me of like 2017 wild card game.
Well, that was 2017 Walker game was Shulman, Jess, whatever her name was, Mendoza, and Aaron Boone was in the booth.
Yeah.
But anyways, Joe Buck, dude, I miss him a lot. I really do. I think he'll be back in baseball though.
Yeah, I think he will too. But last thing I do want to say, just touching on that Matty V thing, I think Matty V lost his lore when two things, right? One, when he became the full-time play-by-play of the Angels, and two, when he started doing Sunday Night Baseball, because then I think it just kind of became like oversaturation. And I think the whole thing with Buck is like when you hear his voice, you know it's a big game. When we started hearing Matty V every week and calling every Angel game, it kills the lore of him, right? So I don't know,
you hear him a lot with Ohtani. Like Ohtani's making a highlight every freaking day.
Yeah,
you're hearing Matty V, and I think just in general, being attached to a team, it does feel a little bit different. I mean, going really inside the commentator here thing, but like Joe Davis, is it Joe Davis? I believe who now does for Fox. Yeah. Isn't he the Dodgers guy? And
is he?
I believe so. And then on FS1, they would have Brian Anderson, who at least for a while was doing, I think, the Marlins games. And that to me naturally also throws me off a little bit. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, we've seen actually K, which is always weird. I mean, he did it
last year.
He did it in London, didn't he? Too.
He did it in London. Then last year he also did the wild card series, Phillies versus Cardinals.
Right. Yeah. And also what's funny is when K, this is very rare. I don't think it's happened in a couple of years, but like you'll have K call a game on Fox, but it's still a Yankee game. So it's like he's commenting as a national broadcast. It was like Yankees Rays that did it a couple of years ago. Anyways, I think that was a good conversation about broadcasting though. I miss Buck a lot, dude. I just miss the general feeling of like the big game feel, which Fox still has. You're right about that. I don't think it's because of the commentary crew though.
It's because of the whole presentation,
right? And that's what's been it's what Fox has had for the last 20 years, or ever since I started watching baseball, which is not 20 years, but
yeah. And also, we didn't mention it, but a huge shout to MLB Network because I think that just their coverage and their person, like, bro, nothing makes me happier at night than like eating dinner and turning on MLB Tonight. I think that like they have supreme personalities over there.
I don't talk positive about MLB Network on air. Sorry, they screwed over my boy Chris Rose. That's why.
Oh.
Well, I do watch MLB Network. I'm not a fan of them, but I do watch them. Yo, that was a good ass episode, Pat. I had a lot of fun. It probably went like 45. How long did this one went? Did you time it? You don't do that no more, do you?
No, it was a long episode. I would probably say we went 45.
Although, I mean, this is always what makes it long because I talk about how long it is, and I just feel like I'm playing with House's money, and you know what I mean.
No, we're deep in at this point. Right, after the Domingo topic, it was like, all right, whatever.
No, I know. Yeah, I thought we were gonna have to drop a topic, but the episode we did like 2 days ago, that was what I felt was like an hour long. Not the last one, but the one before that. That was like I thought it was like an hour long. It was only like 39 minutes, which that's a comfortable sweet spot.
And let me just say,
I'm very anal about it. I'm sorry. I just because that
what?
You know, that is a weird adjective that people use.
Weird.
Yes.
Very weird.
But I don't. The design of the show was supposed to be 25 minutes, Chris, to the point. But I just can't.
It is in our description.
Talk a lot to you, dude. I talk.
And you know, I think it works when there's not much to talk about, right? I think that we're doing a disservice if we have a lot to talk about and a lot of good points to make, but we hold ourselves back just to hit a certain time quota, right? And one thing I will say, I've never seen anybody comment and be like, yo, this episode was too long. So I think,
but also, really, what did I say last week?
Fuck them.
That's probably what I also said. Yes, but no. What did I say about you can't appeal to the 10% on that side, or 10% on that side. You got to appeal to the 80%. And majority of the time, the numbers will show. And also, like, if there's one major benefit I've gotten from, I mean, that's fine. The show's fine going long. That's fine. I don't care. But one major benefit I've gotten from working with Jimmy and stuff, dude, he understands the YouTube algorithm like it's fucking It's unbelievable. It's insane. So just like little stuff like that. But who knows, dude? I'm having fun doing it. I'm sure you are too, right? Where that socials, Pat? Yeah, I'll tell you
TikTok.
this.
No, go.
It's not important.
No, tell me.
I just, you know, I had the fattest gummy, bro, at the beginning of the Yankee game, and it's lasted so long. And the fact that I got through the show and made as many tremendous points as I did is not only a miracle, one might call it a work of art, Pat. Socials, bro. Where can they find you, dude?
TikTok and Twitter at Unhinged Patrick, Instagram at True Hennessy, YouTube at Unhinged Patrick as well.
Instagram, Dan on Rourke, Instagram, Yankees Avenue. I've been posting on my personal Instagram a little bit more lately.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Very good. Very nice.
Yankees Avenue here on YouTube. See, dude, this depresses me because now I'm like, fuck, I want to keep talking, but whatever. I'm gonna mute that F-bomb. It's actually been pretty good today. I've been really good today.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Christina.
I don't think that's her name, but yeah.
Well, I'm gonna find out. All right, y'all. See you next time. We'll see you next time. Let's go, Yankees.
Her body's going like September. She burns through the night like an ember. And all those things we try forgetting, I remember. But we say we all fine, we all fine.